Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. I'm up here at my favourite bolt hole. I'm at Mount Tomaree and at my little secret location here. Let me just do a bit of a panning shot, and as you can see, the sun hasn't come up yet. It'll be coming up in about 20 minutes. And we've got the full moon, or 2 days after the full moon, on its setting course. It'll set over there in the west, and if we look over here onto the horizon, at some point over the next 10-15 minutes we'll have the sun rising over there. What I'd like to do today is just to take you through a topic which I've got near and dear to my heart. I tried filming it yesterday, but I only realised after I filmed it that my granddaughter Annabelle had been playing with my equipment, and she switched my mic from smartphone to camera mode, and that's why the sound quality wasn't quite what it normally would be. So I'll just focus on a couple of those items in that vlog, and just touch on them again now that I've got this beautiful vista and awesome vantage point, because it is an important topic. And the topic that we were talking about yesterday was the life wheel. I came across the life wheel when I was a young executive at IBM, and back in the old days, IBM, there used to be a joke around the company that IBM stood for I've been married, which as a young bloke I'd just gotten married then, so newly married, and this advice that came back in those days was most welcomed, because what they basically wanted to highlight to all the young executives was that there was a balancing act in our lives that each and every one of us is responsible for and accountable for, and it's not the fault of the employer, it's not the fault of your friends, it's not the fault of your partner, it's not the fault of anybody else if you are unable to manage your own life affairs and to ensure that you have balance in your life. So the key learnings from that was that it was important and absolutely critical for everybody to try and maintain balance in their lives, in the key areas of our lives. And what are the key areas? I'll touch on a few of them there. As I've said before, there are different life wheels depending on your cultural background, depending on what age you are, and all of those things, but generally they should be all the same, but I'll just touch on the ones that I know. So the life wheel, as it was described to me back a long time ago now, it was back in 1986, so getting on a few years now, was that we had to find balance in the following areas. One was work, career. That was an important piece of everybody's life. And the other one was family. So family was important. So you had work on the one hand, family on the other. Then you had friends and family and relationships that you needed to make time for and include in your life. There was also health, your personal health, your mental health, your physical health. So you needed to make sure that you were healthy in order to be able to do all the other things in your life. And then there was the other things. There were financial. You needed to have a focus on your financial, present, past and future. ensure that you had enough money to live a life that you desired and the lifestyle that you planned. And there was also recreation, which is basically time spent rejuvenating and resting and all of those sorts of things. And there was also a quadrant there for your personal health, your personal growth and development. And there may have been, and of course the other one is spiritual. So your spiritual aspect of your life. So what they said is that you can break your life up into slices, just like a pizza. And each slice, you need to try and make the most of each slice so that the pizza is complete. And the most interesting thing that I learned back then was that not only are these slices in the pizza important to bring balance into, but if you do too much of one slice, you miss out on the other slice. For example, if you focus too much on work, if you're a workaholic, work, then the other slice in that pizza is your relationship with your spouse. Unless your spouse wants you to work and just make as much money as you can for them to spend, then you're going to have problems if all you do is throw all your energy into work. So pay attention to that, because just recently I've been talking to quite a few young men that I've worked with in the construction industry, and even though over the past decade or so they've been taking home clear in their pockets $4,000 or $5,000, which is absolutely phenomenal amounts of money, they end up finding that their relationships with their partners end up on the rocks, because their partners get fed up because of the lack of time that they get to spend with their partners and the lack of commitment and investment that the men and women, I'm not just saying just men, it happens to both genders, spend on their families. The other thing is if you're spending too much time working under too much stress all the time, then that's also going to impact your health. It's going to impact your spiritual health, your mental health, and your physical health. So too much of the one thing, although it may be good for somebody who's really ambitious to throw everything at work, in the long term, when they look back over their lives, they'll look back and say, had I had my time again, I would have tried to find more balance. I would have made more time for my family, for my friends, for my wife, and for myself. Because who needs to be a CEO and to be earning millions of dollars and driving an organisation of 1,000 or 10,000 people when your own family pays the ultimate price and are unfulfilled, unhappy, and basically feel as if you haven't been part of their lives. So how do we solve this? How do we work around this? It's pretty simple. As I learned back in those days at IBM, what you need to do is you need to have a focus, a plan for each of those pieces of, or each of those slices of your life wheel. So, and set yourself goals and look at trying to improve day by day in each area until you get to a point where you get a little bit more balanced. Look, the bottom line is that you're not going to find perfect balance. Because as we know, we've got pressures, we've got urgency tugging at us all the time. We've got work pulling all the time. We've got our children, our partners, our friends, always cajoling us, encouraging us to spend more time with them. So we just need to do the best we can with the time we have available to us. And if it means booking in time into a diary to spend time with your family, with your friends, then just do it. But also you need to spend time on your own to reflect, to plan, to look back over your life and to enjoy your accomplishments and the things that you've been able to achieve. So it's a tricky one, but as we said, we're not going to get perfect balance, but we need to be striving for balance. We need to be working for balance, and we need to be helping the people around us achieve balance as well. Because too much of the one thing can be damaging psychologically, physically, spiritually, mentally, you name it. So we've got to be absolutely careful that we're focusing on bringing balance into our lives and ensuring that the people that we have around us are not shortchanged by us spending too much time doing too few things which don't add value to their lives. Remembering that everybody starts off their life loving each other, committed to each other, but if you don't have time together, if you don't make time to be together, if you don't make time for your children, if you don't make time for yourself, if you don't make time for your religion, for your spiritual aspects, if you don't make time for your finances, then it's going to spoil the party, because it's going to disrupt all the other quadrants. And you may have a pizza, but on one slice it'll be full of pepperoni, on the other slice it'll just be a little bit of cheese and a little bit of mushroom, and on the other slice it may have nothing at all, which means that the pizza experience is not going to be a full experience for you. Anyway, thanks very much for joining me today on this magnificent morning from this awesome vantage point. The sun is just going to creep up there over the horizon. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. I'm sure there's going to be some whales breaching down there shortly. But let's finish off with our positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, sit down and assess your life wheel. Rate yourself as from a 1 to 10 in each of the quadrants, in each of those slices of your pizza, of that life wheel, and join the dots and see where the gaps are. And then the rest is easy. All you have to do is then, first of all, you have to assess and diagnose that you've got an issue, that you've got a problem. And the next thing you need to do is to plan and take some steps to sort it out. It's never too late to sort out your life wheel. And it's never too late to make plans and to say, well, look, I'm not going to work on my personal health right now. I'll do it in 3 months once I've lost some weight, or once I've done something else, or once I've sorted out the other things that are a bit of a mess in our lives. But once you've got it on paper, once you've allocated time to it, once you've made it a priority, then it's going to happen. It's going to happen, just like the sunrise is going to happen, unless of course I slip down the cliff here and end up in the water. But it's all going to happen once you focus on it. So take care, have a good rest of the day, and thank you once again for joining me on Jim's 5 AM Club. And tomorrow I'll come to you from another location with hopefully another uplifting story, experience or book review, so that we both, or all of us, can grow and develop and learn something and pass it on. Anyway, take care, yasas, and bye for now from Jim's 5 AM Club.